Okay, so we're on question 2 now. Describe the purpose of validation and verification checks during data entry. So it's an important topic. Again, I guess they're all important topics. I suppose two important key words, validation and verification. So we need to establish the difference between the two first of all. So validation is where we try to stop errors getting into our software by making sure that data entered is sensible, or the data entered meets some rules that we've set up. The types of validation that we looked at in lesson, if you remember, my favourite catch all is the presence check, because generally you can, if you're asking somebody to enter some data, that data has to be there, so a presence check is a good one to use if you can't remember the others. But the others we did in lesson, we've got range check, if the data falls within a set range of values, so is it a number between 50 and 100. Type check, so data type, is it an integer, is it a string. Presence check we just talked about, is it there. Length check, so if somebody is typing in some sort of login code, that login code may have to be a specific length, specific set number of characters, so we can count them and we can use that to validate. If it's not the right number of characters, then they have to type it again. And then we've got the format check. So the format check is where data has to be in a set format. So for example, with a postcode, you have to type in a letter, then a letter, then a number, then a number, then a number, then a letter, then a letter. So NZ 445QP, something like that. So that's a format check. So looking at this one, so for a validation check, describe the purpose of validation and verification checks during data entry, and then include an example for each. So we're going to have to state an example. So we just talked about the fact, so validation to check data. So in the mark scheme they've got is possible, reasonable, sensible. I also like to define it as saying to check, make sure the data meets a set of rules, so that data can be allowed onto software, something like that. But let's go for sensible. Check data is sensible. That's it. That's fine. That's what validation does. And then example range check. Okay, I mean, you could write all that as sort of in a better structured format with sentences, but essentially they'll see that and they'll go, yeah, that's one, yeah, that's one. Okay, so but it's entirely up to you how you present that. So verification is different. Verification is checking that the user typed in what they were supposed to type in, and there are some things you can't really validate. You can't really validate names. It's quite difficult to validate a name. It's quite difficult to validate an address, other than using a presence check. But the problem with that is that doesn't then allow us to see that if somebody's typed it in wrong. So verification then kicks in, because verification is how we can check that the user typed in exactly what they wanted to type in, or what they thought they typed in. So let's have a look. So describe the purpose of a verification check. So verification is to check the user typed in what they intended. I mean, there are quite a few different ways to describe that. There are two examples that we can give for that. So double data entry is the first one. So that's where you type in your email address for something, and then it says, please type your email in again. And if you type it in again and it's the same, then it's verified. If you type it in and it's different, then it'll tell you they're different, and then you'll have to type it in again and verify it. So the other method is visual check. So you could type in your email address, and then it will display it back to you on the screen, say you typed in this, is it okay? And then you say yes or no. So there are two ways really that we verify. So so I'm going to put double data entry. I think in the mark scheme, what have they put? They've put double entry check, but double data entry, double entry, that'll do. Okay, so there we go. So we've got check the user type in what they'd intended, and then double data entry check. I'm not sure why I'm marking this, but it's always nice to get ticks. Right, so let's stop that one. A bit of a ramble, but hopefully that helps. And again, if you've got any questions about anything that I've talked about in here, then please just message me or just catch me next week. Okay, so on to the next video. I'll stop this one now.